background for this. I guess it doesn't really matter. This was essentially a conversation that took place in a Reddit thread, right? At least that's what they say. What is Cuil theory? How do you even pronounce this? Am I saying it right? Cuil? I think it's Cuil. Cuil theory means business. Cuil is the cutting edge. The advances in the field are occurring at an unheard of pace. The recovery of the world economy may very well depend on science finding a productive way of harnessing the Cuil. Origins of the Cuil theory. The idea was to lampoon the terrible search engine capabilities of the Cuil search engine while providing a functionally stimulating idea about the interrelationship between tangential things. Now there's a word. Tangential. Of relating to along a tangent. The result was the following exchange. Halcyon from Reddit. Reddit's thumbnails have a Cuil level of effectiveness. Red die number 4. These are usernames, by the way. Usernames, by the way. So red die number 4 says, can we make that a unit of measurement, referring to the Cuil? And as such, this is what happened. 1 Cuil is equal to the level of abstraction away from the reality of a situation. An example being, you ask me for a hamburger. That's the example that's taking place. A person asking another person for a hamburger. So essentially, 1 Cuil, meaning we have gone 1 Cuil away from the reality of a situation. We are abstracting reality by taking a jump from 0 Cuils to 1 Cuil. Again, restating, the example for base reality would be, you ask me for a hamburger. 1 Cuil away from reality, it becomes, if you asked me for a hamburger, and I gave you a raccoon. 2 Cuils away from reality. If you asked me for a hamburger, but it turns out I don't really exist. Where I was originally standing, a picture of a hamburger rests on the ground. 3 Cuils away from reality. You awake as a hamburger. You start screaming only to have special sauce fly from your lips. The world is in sepia. 4 Cuils away from reality. Why are we speaking German? A mime cries softly as he's cradling a young cow. Your grandfather stares at you as the cow falls apart into patties. You look down only to see me with pickles for eyes. I am singing the song that gives birth to the universe. 5 Cuils away from reality. You ask for a hamburger. I give you a hamburger. You raise it to your lips and take a bite. Your eye twitches involuntarily. Across the street, a father of 3 falls down the stairs. You swallow and look down at the hamburger in your hands. I give you a hamburger. You swallow and look down at the hamburger in your hands. You cannot swallow. There are children at the top of the stairs. A pickle shifts uneasily underneath the bun. I give you a hamburger. You look at my face and I am pleading with you. The children are crying now. You raise the hamburger to your lips. Tears stream down your face as you take a bite. I give you a hamburger. You are on your knees. You plead with me to go across the street. I hear only children's laughter. I give you a hamburger. You are screaming as you fall down the stairs. I am your child. You cannot see anything. You take a bite of the hamburger. The concrete rushes up to meet you. You awake with a start in your own bed. Your eye twitches involuntarily. I give you a hamburger. As you kill me, I do not make a sound. I give you a hamburger. 6 Cuils away from reality now. You ask for a hamburger. My attempt to reciprocate is cut brutally short as my body experiences a sudden lack of electrons. Across a variety of hidden dimensions, you are dismayed. John Lennon hands me an apple, but it slips through my fingers. I am reborn as an ocelot. You disapprove. A crack echoes through the universe in defiance of conventional physics as cosmological background noise shifts from randomness to a perfect A-flat. Children everywhere stop what they are doing and hum along in perfect pitch with the background radiation. Birds fall from the sky as the sun engulfs the earth. You hesitate momentarily before allowing yourself to assume the locus of all knowledge. Entropy crumbles as you pursue the information contained within the universe. A small library in Phoenix ceases to exist. You stumble under the weight of everythingness. Your mouth opens up to cry out and collapses around your body before blinking you out of the spatial plane. You exist within the 4th dimension. The fountainhead of all knowledge rolls along the ground and collides with a small dog. My head tastes sideways as space-time is re-established. You blink back into the corporeal world, disoriented, only for me to hand you a hamburger as my body collapses under the strain of reconstitution. The universe has reasserted itself. A particular small dog is fed steak for the rest of its natural life. You die in a freak accident moments later, and your soul works at the returns desk for the Phoenix Library. You disapprove. Your disapproval sends ripples through the interdimensional void between life and death. A small child begins to cry as he walks toward the stairway where his father stands. 7 Cuils away from reality. This is the maximum that has ever been recorded. I give you a hamburger. The universe is engulfed within itself. A bus advertising hot dogs drives by a papillion. It disapproves. An unnatural force reverses Earth's gravity even. You ask for a hamburger. I reciprocate with a mildly convulsing potato. You disapprove. Your disapproval releases a comic shift in the void between birth and life. You ask for a hamburger. A certain small dog feasts on hamburger patties for the rest of its unnatural, eternal endurance. Your constant disapproval sends silence through everything. A contrived beast becomes omnipotent, and you ask for a hamburger. I give you a hamburger, and your body becomes an unsettled blob of nothingness, then divides by 3. The papillion barks. The universe realigns itself. You, the papillion now, and the hamburger disapprove. This condemnation stops the realignment. Hades freezes over, and a pig is launched into the unoccupied existence between space and time with a specific hamburger. You ask for a hamburger. I give you a hamburger. It screams as you lift it to your face. You laugh maniacally as I plead with you. You devour the hamburger as it pleads for mercy. I disapprove and condemn you to an eternity in a certain void where a certain pig and its specific hamburger are located. It screams as you lift it to your face. You laugh maniacally as I plead with you. You devour the hamburger as it pleads for mercy. I disapprove and condemn you to an eternity in a certain void, and a certain pig and its specific hamburger are located. The Universal Space-Time Continuum Committee disapproves of my irrational decision, and you are locked away and fed hamburgers for the rest of your natural existence. A pickle refuses to break down during the process of digestion. You die in a freak accident. A certain pickle lives the rest of its life in a comatose state. Your soul disapproves. Down the street, a child cries as a hamburger gets stuck in and climbs back up her esophagus. You ask again for a hamburger, and I refuse to reciprocate. You demand a lawyer. I remind you harshly that this is the New World Order. Lawyers no longer exist, only papillions. Your name is written on a list of sins. Blasphemy. You ask for a hamburger. The comatose pickle vanquishes your soul from this universe. Realignment occurs, and you beg for a hamburger. A certain papillion's name is written on an obelisk in Egypt. Mumble. Peasants worship the obelisk. Your soulless corpse partakes in the festivity. Hamburgers are banned universally. The sun implodes, and all planets cease to have ever existed. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto is the only mass in existence. Conveniently, you are on vacation here. Your need for hamburgers reestablishes space-time, Earth is recreated under intergalactic rule, and hamburgers are your army. You wake up. Clowns. Clowns everywhere. Your dream rushes to meet you. You are kidnapped. You ask for a hamburger, and they hand you a hot dog. That was Cuil number 7. Apparently people thought this was an interesting way to consider the relationships between objects. This website is an attempt to explain exactly how Cuil theory is intended to work, so that in the future we can rate the world on a scale of strangeness and surrealism that actually fits a standard. For all practical purposes, the Cuil is represented by an interrobang. That is this symbol right here. That's an interrobang. This is because the interrobang is fearsome, awesome, and not in use for mathematical reasons to the best of my knowledge. Anyone is welcome to join the site and help construct Cuil theory, and we will help you use it while you describe a drug trip in the very near future. I propose 0 Cuil, or absolute Cuil. 0 Cuil. I ask you for a hamburger. You give me the epitome of all hamburgers. The most subjective detail. Observers in a state of perfect Cuil are often induced to a phenomenon known as the Cuil paradox, where the hamburger asked/given ratio is near 1 by 1, or sorry, so near 1 by 1, that the observer begins to doubt the reality, suspecting that the hamburger was an artifact of their manufactured memories. Then, in fact, they would be as far from absolute Cuil as possible. What about the idea of negative Cuil? That heading toward an infinite negative Cuil, or a lower bound that is absolute realism. If I were to present you with a unified theory of everything in the universe, it would be absolute negative Cuil. Everything else is just grades of the negative Cuil below zero Cuil or normal reality. Cuil modeling could have far-reaching ramifications for coding theory, AI, and computer science applications. Encryption, quantum communication, and AI research as AI constructs become more complex, and the large datasets they produce of diagnostic output, Cuil modeling could easily map and model just pure semantic noise seen in AI brainwaves. Well, there is no Cuil 8 E-Man, so unfortunately, yeah, you're not going to be able to see it. Anyway, that's Cuil theory, guys. I enjoyed reading it to you, and I hope you all gained something out of it. Let's get back to this average before we get any further away from reality. Man, I'm hungry for a hamburger right now, though. Does anyone want to give me a hamburger? I really hope it just doesn't end up being a hot dog.